you all for coming to what was formerly known as the Wil Wheaton Awesome Hour and is now apparently just known as Wil Wheaton. I'm going to tell you some stories today about gaming, and then I'm going to take some questions from you if you have them, and then I'm going to leave. So, thanks a lot for coming. Before I get started, this thing says, I think it says no filming, but yeah. This is my time with you today. You are welcome to record as much as you like. It is released under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share Alike license. You know, I've been coming to PAX since 2007, and it's one of those things that feels at once like a very, very long time ago, and like it just happened yesterday. And this year is the first time since I started coming to PAX that I actually like have a career now, and I'm working a lot, and I didn't even realize until like 5 days ago, oh my God, PAX is in 5 days. And I've spent the last 5 days bouncing up and down every time I have a seat somewhere. There's been a lot of like running from place to place, a lot of this while I go to places, and as I walked toward the convention center today, I got that feeling of like going home and going back to summer camp, and I got really excited, and it's almost enough to cut through the headache I have because I stayed up till 2:30 this morning playing Dragon Age RPG with my friends. You know, I've been playing RPGs since the early 80s, and I started with the D&D Red Box set, and with the color and dice and everything, and the way that I approach role-playing is, I guess it's really, really old school. I just like to tell a great story. I like to work and collaborate with my friends to tell a story that really entertains us. And my friend Wil ran the most amazing Dragon Age game last night. We didn't use minis. We didn't really use anything sort of tactical. We all sat down and told a story with characters that we've now leveled up 3 different times. We started at Gen Con last year, and then we played at PAX last year, and then we played again last night. And it was so much fun that when I woke up this morning, and my brain was like, fuck, dude. Seriously? You stay up until 2:30 the night before PAX starts? And I was like, well, you know, in case I get to be an enforcer someday, I should probably be in training. Some of these stories are about role-playing, and some of them are about classic video games. They're all about how much I love being a nerd. So this was recently published on my blog, and it's called Wil Buys a New Game. It's super effective. A pair of 20-something bros dressed and posed in a manner that was such a hilarious cliche. If I described them exactly as I saw them, my editor would have said, you have to rewrite that, it's too cliche. Stood near the front of the store, communicating in some kind of broglish language that leaned heavy on the word fuck and its many derivatives. I'm rated M. I should have said that when I walked out. Sorry. I guess I'm Old Man Wheaton. Let me just pause for a second and tell you an Old Man Wheaton story. There's these kids who live up the street from me, and they're sweet kids. They're really sweet kids. They're like there's 3 of them. They're like probably 7, 8, and 10, and they like to ride their dirt bikes, like you do. And they race their dirt bikes up and down my street all day long. And my street's on a little bit of a hill, and my driveway is a hill. And like you do when you're that age, they like to race their bikes as fast as they can down the hill, and then sort of let their momentum carry them up my driveway. You know, sort of like pause at that sort of like apex of like, I guess, you know, dirt bike weightlessness, and then speed back down the driveway. And I saw these kids doing this like maybe 2 weeks ago. And they were, the thing is, none of these kids are wearing bicycle helmets. Now, look, I never wore a bicycle helmet until recently, and, you know, I didn't get that much head damage to myself. But I was worried, you know, because people tend to drive too fast on my street. And these kids were racing down out of my driveway, and I just kept replaying this image over and over in my head of the kids racing down the driveway and just getting hit by a car. And the secular humanist in me was like, I should probably go out there and tell them not to do that. And then like the practical realist in me was like, you're going to get sued for the rest of your life if they die riding their bikes on your driveway. So I opened up, so my son and I, Ryan and I, were sitting in the house, and I saw this happening through the dining room window, and I said, I gotta go, I'll be right back, I gotta go to those kids to be, to not do this. So I walked out and I said, hey, you guys, really love what you're doing. And it's like, dude, like really, like with the skidding and like skidding to the side, like you guys are, you're doing whatever the bicycle equivalent of bleeding the cube is. Like you're really, you guys are boss. And I wanted to speak to them in a language that they would kind of understand. So I was like, look, dudes, the thing is, I'm worried that someone's going to hit you when you race down the driveway like that. So, like, I don't want you to, like, not ride your bikes and everything, but, just don't ride them down my driveway like that, all right? And the kid looks up at me, he's sort of like the alpha child, looks up at me and he goes, "It's cool, bro." Which is good, S''cool, bro, okay? I understand that. And I said, thanks, sorry. And the kids, go right up the street, and they continue their riding up and down the street, but they're just not, they're not coming up the driveway anymore. And I go back inside, and my son says to me, well, congratulations, you just told kids to get off your lawn. I tore a bunch of tendons in my ankle when I was working on Eureka last year, and I had to walk around with a cane for almost a month. And it was kind of cool. Because everywhere I went, people were like, oh, would you like to sit here? Can I hold this door for you? And I got into this habit of like using the cane to like push buttons in elevators. Stuff around. The cane very quickly became an extension of my arm, but nothing in the world was as satisfying as shaking it at people. Anyway, so that's probably the longest Wil Wheaton footnote. That easily took up 7 or 8 pages. As I was saying, before that happened, I guess I'm Old Man Wheaton because I looked around at all the 7- and 8-year-olds in the store. If you've forgotten where we were, there were bros. And I felt mildly offended that these 2 bros couldn't be bothered to make an effort to, just like tone it down a little bit. But such is the way of the bro. If they had common sense and a wisdom stat that was higher than D6 + 2, they probably wouldn't be bros. And by the way, they teach that like bro slouch driving posture, like at the douchebag driving school. Because I'm behind graduates of that school almost every day. So I walked around the bros, and I went to the Nintendo DS games. And I felt like I imagined a teenager would feel when he went to buy his first box of condoms. So I felt my face get warm, and I caught myself like sort of looking around to make sure that nobody was really watching me, there was no one I knew in the store, as I reached for the nearest copy of Pokemon Blackberry. So I looked at it, right? And I turned it over and I read on the back and I thought, I cannot believe I'm really going to do this. This is going to happen. I'm 38 years old and I'm buying my first Pokemon. The bros left the store, trailing expletives behind them. I don't speak Broglish, but apparently something was a lot of fucking bullshit. The precious children I was so concerned about moments earlier didn't seem to notice. They probably play a lot of Call of Duty on Xbox. Or maybe I'm just a dad, nearing 40. I nervously drummed my fingers on the game as I replayed the conversation I had had with Jerry about 2 months ago, where he assured me that Pokemon on the DS is a fun RPG that starts anew with each release and is incredibly fun when you play it with your friends. The last game Jerry recommended to me was Might and Magic Clash of Heroes. It is one of the greatest games I have ever played on the DS, not called Mario Kart. So I trusted him. I trusted him enough to find myself standing in GameStop, feeling like I was renting porn, and wanting to ensure that I was getting big wet asses for instead of wet big asses. Like you do. So I approached the counter, game in hand. Can I help you with anything? The guy asked me. Yes, I said, but you have to promise that you're not going to make fun of me. The other guy smirked, and the first guy told me that he would not make fun of me. Okay. I exhaled and realized that I had tensed up my shoulders. I forced them to relax. So, do you have Pokemon White version? He sort of chuckled. The other guy failed to cover a laugh. Hey, I said, look, I can see that you're judging me. No, man, I just thought it was funny. We both play Pokemon, the other guy said. Yeah, it's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's a really fun RPG, the first guy said. That's what my friends called me. So, here I am, 38, buying Pokemon for the first time. I am given to understand that white version and black version are essentially the same. Is that correct? The other guy said that I had been correctly informed and added that it pretty much depended on what box I liked better. Oh, okay, so this one looks like a dragon? A dragon lore? Dragon lawn? Dragon meat? Whatever, it looks like a dragon, and I think dragons are cool, so the first guy typed a few things into his computer. We have the white version, but we only have it used. You know, I actually prefer to buy games new to support the developers, I said. I felt a little self-conscious, like I had just extolled the virtues of fidelity while standing in a whorehouse. Or giving a shit about the middle class while standing on the floor of Congress. Seriously, fuck those guys. No worries, he said. Okay, so I'll take this, and I automatically just said, and super scribble dots. Like, I want this lube, these porn magazines, and peanut butter. No, not peanut butter. Socks. No, not socks. Something that doesn't go with this stuff, which is the real reason I came in here in the first place. Like an apple pie. Can I leave now? The program is also cursed. He rang me up. Hey, he said, I really like your work on Big Bang Theory. I know this sounds weird, but I often forget that when I'm interacting with strangers, there's this non-zero chance that they know my name and have seen some of my work. It used to make me feel like I had an arm growing out of my head when it happened, but I've gotten over that, and now it actually makes me happy, because I'm really proud of what I do and grateful to do it. Make a note that that's apparently the boss line. Okay. Be awesome. I said, thank you. I really like geeking on the Big Bang Theory. Do you want a bag for these? He asked. Which, come on, seriously, when you walk out of the porno shop, it's those black plastic bags that all smell weird, and you can never get the smell out of your car, and like everybody knows, but everybody pretends that they don't. Oh yes, I was just at, H&M, buying clothes, and they put it in that black bag that, says shopping on it. No, it's totally cool. What do you think I have here, wet big asses for? No, I'm good, I said. I'll carry them out in the open so the whole world can know my shame. Thanks for your help. I walked out of the store, past another employee who was explaining the differences between a couple of first-person shooter games to a guy who was about my age. He seemed as uncertain about his purchase decision as I was about mine, but not nearly as self-conscious. The end.